What's up, guys? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Niners News here on 49ers Hive. My name is Zach Hernandez, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Matt Llewellyn, and today we are going to be reevaluating Jimmy Garoppolo now that we've had roughly 2.5 weeks of Nick Mullens. Matt, give it to me straight. What do you think of Jimmy Garoppolo now that we saw some good and ugly play from his backup, Nick Mullens?
I told everybody. The more you see of Nick Mullens, the less you're going to like. And Jimmy Garoppolo, while not Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes, is a really, really – and after 2.5 weeks, it's amazing how much 49ers Twitter has, absence makes the heart grow fonder for Jimmy Garoppolo. They're looking forward to having him back. Now, all of a sudden, one or two people, including our own Scott Gielan aside, who can't seem to make up his mind about anything. Everybody, it's a love fest for Jimmy Garoppolo. Scott doesn't like him, but Scott also likes Ja'Kai Polite, so there's no accounting for taste. That being said, Jimmy Garoppolo is obviously the best quarterback on this roster. It's not even close. Is he perfect? No. He still has the Jimmy throw where you're just like, what are you doing? And deep ball consistency is still something that, you're missing on. But, he's better than a lot of other quarterbacks. And I would say that he's in the top third in the league as far as quarterbacks go. I'd put him at like 12th or 13th best in the league. Especially, once we see him with weapons too. And that's, based off of last year. This year so far, we have a rust-filled Arizona game, which was weird from the jump, where he seemed to hold on to the ball a little too long. And then there was the Jets game where he got injured on a second pass attempt, and then afterwards was just like firing passes from, weird angles and under pressure, and was just, snapping the ball out of there, and was incredibly, incredibly effective while injured. So which Jimmy Garoppolo we're going to get when he comes back, I don't know. For the post-injury Jets, Jimmy Garoppolo, because if he can take that next step forward. And that, I think that's what's frustrating for most people, is that if he can take the next step forward. But again, you have to remember, this is a guy that hasn't had that much time. And in his, first full season as 49er starter, his first full season, what happened? He took him to a Super Bowl and outplayed Patrick Mahomes for 3 quarters. So, again, he's not Aaron Rodgers, he's Mahomes, but, he's better than, system quarterbacks like Jared Goff or Derek Carr. He's better than Baker Mayfield. He's better than, whoever the Dolphins had. He's better than a lot of these guys. He's not, a Josh Allen or a Lamar Jackson with their athleticism. He does have some limitations, but, it's not super often that, the best quarterbacks in the game are winning left and right Super Bowls. Brady notwithstanding. Marino, one of the best quarterbacks ever, never won a Super Bowl. John Elway took until he was over the hill and couldn't really, carry a team anymore before he finally won. Peyton Manning won 1 Super Bowl in his prime, and the defense carried him to his second one. Eli Manning won 2, and he was never the best quarterback in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers, who we talk about as the most talented quarterback that we've ever seen, has 1 Super Bowl. So listen, more good quarterbacks win Super Bowls than you would think. And so is Jimmy Garoppolo capable of leading this team to a Super Bowl victory? I say yes. And that's really all you can ask out of your quarterback. Not every signal caller is going to be a Hall of Famer. But I think at this point, fans are discovering that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. I think they realize what Jimmy brings to the table. I think they realize the limitations of Nick Mullens, and I think that we finally put this whole Nick Mullens is better than Jimmy stuff to rest. So that, for that, I say amen. But beyond that, it's going to be nice to get him back. I think he's going to be back this week against the Dolphins, and, the offense can start to gel from that point.
Yeah, Nick Mullens came out Sunday night and had the worst performance by any quarterback this season. I think it was evident that this team needs Jimmy Garoppolo. He masked a lot of their deficiencies, like I've said before. And he played, like you said, the first week you can kind of write off. No, we said it during that recap, none of the traditional pocket passers played exceptionally well. It was more of the mobile style quarterbacks that were able to make plays with their legs. They played well. So you can kind of, that's a scratch. Don't worry about week 1. Week 2, he did look good even after getting injured. He looked really good. And I know a lot of people will say it was against the Jets, but the throws that he was making were still good. That could be against anybody. That's what you want to look at. It's the traits, not the opponent. So I was really excited to see that out of him. And hopefully we get, like you said, that version of him when he comes back. And I do agree with you in the sense that not every single quarterback that's won a Super Bowl is the reason why their team won the Super Bowl. Look at Trent Dilfer. And, even look at a guy like Joe Flacco, who beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl in 2012. Mm-hmm. He's not remembered as an elite quarterback, but that season, he had an elite postseason run. I can put his postseason run up there with any other quarterback's postseason run. And I think you just need your quarterback to kind of catch fire at the right time. And you don't need them to always be carrying your team. And I think Kyle Shanahan knows that. And I think that's why he's tried to stack this offense with as many weapons as possible. And I mean, obviously any team wants to do that, but I think specifically, I mean, he passed on the CeeDee Lamb and the Henry Ruggs, I believe, if I'm remembering the draft correctly. So he can go and get a guy like Ayuk, who's better with catching the ball in short distances and doing the rest on his own. George Kittle, who turned into the best tight end in the NFL. Deebo Samuel, who can run the ball. He's really, really surrounded Jimmy with weapons that fit his style of play. And I think Jimmy Garoppolo, he may not have tremendous success elsewhere, but I think in this offense with Kyle Shanahan, he's set up to have, a good amount of success. And I think that the team as a whole gels together nicely when they're all healthy and when they're all together. And I think we saw that last season. So, is Jimmy Garoppolo Patrick Mahomes? No. Is he Aaron Rodgers? No. But he's better than, I agree with you, at least half of the league's starting quarterbacks. Jimmy Garoppolo is better than a lot of guys that I would choose. And he's definitely better than Nick Mullens and CJ Beathard. And I know people might say, well, Nick had an off night. Why can't Jimmy? Jimmy's had off nights all the time. Why can't Nick? It's because of the mental mistakes that Nick was making. I don't think those are coachable. I think that's who you get as a player with Nick Mullens. With Jimmy, we saw him get better and better. And I think this season was kind of his real time to prove it that he is worth a full-time starter. And hopefully he's still able to do that once he returns from injury. What kind of things are you still looking for Jimmy Garoppolo to kind of prove, to show that he is the guy? Because people are still talking about moving forward and moving off of Jimmy Garoppolo after this season. What do you think he needs to show to prove that, no, you need to stick with me, I am the right guy for this moving forward?
I think he needs to show a little more decisiveness as far as getting the ball out, moving through progressions, and decision making. You touched on the Nick Mullens decision making, and that's something where, again, we've talked about the Jimmy throw where he makes that one throw and you're like, oh God, what are you doing? But the difference between Nick Mullens, and we saw it last night, was a perfect example. If you're going to make those bad decisions, you at least need to have the arm talent to back it up. And Nick Mullens is lacking in that arm talent. So the only thing that Nick Mullens had going for him prior to that was not making mistakes. At least that's what the perception was. But if you look at the season where he started the last 8 games, he had 13 touchdowns and 10 picks. So he's always been a guy that's going to create turnovers. Like that, he's just going to turn the ball over. Jimmy, for as much as you want to bag on Jimmy, Jimmy will turn the ball over sometimes, but he'll also make plays. The other thing that I want to see from Jimmy in the vein of making plays is, there were a couple throws, especially against the Jets, that deep ball down the sideline that Bourne should have caught. That was right there for him. I need to see more of that. If he can consistently throw a deep ball to the hashes outside the numbers, I mean, that's just going to be a little extra for him, I'd like to see him just shore up a little bit of his ball placement too. His ball can sail a little bit. But if he can do those things, then why he can't improve upon what he did last year, where, I don't know, for the people that say he's not that good, I don't know. He was top 5 in yards per attempt. He was top 5 in completion percentage. He was top 5 in touchdown passes. So if you're looking for, a Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers type guy, good luck. So is everybody else. That would be ideal if your team had that. But guess what? There's a reason why those guys are generational talents. They don't grow on trees. Whoever gets Trevor Lawrence coming up in this draft is going to be really happy because I think he's one of those guys. But, you can have a successful team and get Super Bowls and have sustained success and not have necessarily a generational guy or a Hall of Fame guy. You just have to work with their limitations as they are. You have to take the bad Jimmy with the good Jimmy, but the good Jimmy far outweighs everything else. So it's not like the Nick Mullens situation where you're going to deal with mistakes, but at the same time the ceiling is really low. Jimmy is a high ceiling guy who can make plays for you. There were multiple times. I mean, how many comebacks did he lead last year? Everybody's talking about, oh, well, he's inconsistent and he causes all these problems. He solves a lot of problems too by being able to march people down the field and make throws and do things. I mean, he had 4 or 5 comebacks last year. So, it's time to end the Jimmy bashing and just appreciate what we have while we have it. His contract is now looking better and better by the day. I mean, he's making, I think, $27 million, which is a pretty good bargain for, a top 1/3 starting quarterback in the NFL. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know when it's ever going to be enough for the fans. So I just hope, though, that with this Nick Mullens disaster behind us, we can kind of good, competent quarterback play, even if it's not Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I think that's key, is that you have to understand, kind of limit your expectations. This team is built through their running game, and I think that without that running game, they might struggle, at least kind of getting used to maybe transitioning more into a pass-first offense until they do get that running game going. But Jimmy Garoppolo, like you said, I want to see him improve as well on that deep ball. We saw him off-season saying, I'm working on it, it's getting better, it's improving. He did show it a little bit on that throw. I want to see more of that. I also want to see him go through his regressions fully and not as rushed. Steve Young came out saying, like, it looks like he's going through them, but that mental clock is kind of going at like 1.5 speed, where he's going through them too quickly before they all fully develop. I'd like to see him slow things down a little bit and let the game come to him, and then go through his regressions on time. And also, limit the Jimmy throws. It's kind of been like a trademark thing with him. Those don't need to happen anymore. He can kind of be a starting quarterback, and he's had enough experience to where he doesn't need to make that bad head-scratching throw once a game. He's already a leader from the looks of it. It looks like guys go out there, they want to play for him. He's got the right attitude. Oh, yeah. He's got the right mindset. So he has most of it. He just needs to kind of put the final finishing touches on it. And I do think that he's a guy that can lead this team to a Super Bowl, if not this year, because of the kind of weird year that the 49ers have started out with. Within the next 2-3 years, their window will be closing depending on how they treat their free agency and all of their pending free agents. Did you want to add something?
Right, yeah. Yeah, and I want to touch on that. I think that the big thing that we need to look at is Jimmy Garoppolo. Everybody's looking for these leaps and bounds, but I think you touched on it, that he just needs to polish some things up. It's more refinement with Jimmy Garoppolo rather than these massive improvements, because he doesn't need to make massive improvements. It's a little thing here, a little thing there. And when you look at it in those circumstances, those kind of refinements are really doable, with coaching, with enough time spent. And we all know that Jimmy works hard by all accounts. He's always, all those videos we saw in the offseason with the receivers working out. Guess who was there? Jimmy Garoppolo was there, so it's a refinement game with him. And I think that he can do it. And if he can do it, and they can continue to draft smart and, kind of restock the talent, as it comes in and out, maybe move off some guys that aren't producing, looking at you, D Ford, and looking at you, Quan Alexander, but bigger contracts and, kind of rework their cap, those cap as a myth guys would come in real handy about now. This team has a window and can lead the 49ers to a potential Super Bowl win. It's simple as that. But I think that, appreciate him for what he is now, because after these last 2.5 weeks, I can't wait until he gets back out on the field.
Yeah, I think we'll end it with this. Just remember the days of JT O'Sullivan, Tim Rattay, Troy Smith,
Jim Druckenmiller.
Alex Smith, Jim Druckenmiller.
Don't talk about Alex Smith. Alex Smith is a good NFL quarterback who's had a bad. I said
bad Alex Smith when he had 6 different offensive coordinators in 6 years.
Yeah, that's Mike Nolan's fault.
Yes, it's not his fault, but the bad years of him, we've struggled through all of that. Now you guys have, we have an efficient quarterback who's better than half of the starting quarterbacks in the league. Appreciate him for what he is. Don't bash him for what he's not. And I think we'll end it on that. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Niners News here on 49ers Hive. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content just like this. like this video, share this video, get some expectations out there of Jimmy Garoppolo, some hopefully kind of mild-tempered ones, not overreactions. And drop your comments below. What do you guys want to see from Jimmy Garoppolo to prove he is the guy moving forward after this year?
And go ahead and click the bell, turn your notifications on so you never miss a video. Until next time, go Niners.